All right, welcome. Episode 17, the Pops and Drops podcast.
What up, people?
Today we're going to talk about leaving a legacy.
Okay.
What it means to be a human being in 2020 and beyond.
Yep.
Okay.
There's something different about you. I'm feeling different now that I found you. There's something different about you. Yeah, I'm feeling different now that I found you.
So we're on this topic because I feel like I've done enough. And you disagree.
Greatly.
Okay. You disagree that I've done enough, or you disagree that you've done enough?
I think both of us haven't done anything
Really?
of note yet. I mean,
So that's a good point. Why is it necessary that somebody do something of note?
because there's a saying that I don't remember who said it, but it's like you never truly disappear until the last person mentions your name.
Okay.
Your energy doesn't truly evaporate or disappear until...
So you're not allowed to get reincarnated until people are stopped talking about you?
No, I don't necessarily believe that because I don't think that reincarnation, I don't think that time is linear. So I think like if I died tomorrow, I could come back in the year 1886. Like, I don't think it works that way. I don't think time works that way.
Interesting. Okay.
Because time is a construct that we create. There's no such thing as time.
Okay. Well, I don't think that's true.
Okay.
Like, the earth used to be lava.
Yeah, but in an alternate dimension, which is literally right here, we just can't see it or perceive it. The earth is still lava.
Okay. So,
And when the multiverse theory and string theory and all that jazz talks about,
string theory has kind of been debunked, but okay.
do you not believe in the multiverse? So you don't believe that every action that you take, there's an alternate universe that splits off?
No, I don't believe that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So you think this is it?
No. I think so. Let me reference Nassim Haramein, the physicist, and Max Planck and a bunch of other people. But essentially, the idea is that the universe is a fabric of energy. Matter is vibration, so that when the energy field, like crossing ripples, if you threw two pebbles in a pond, where the ripples cross and create an interference pattern, that's what creates atoms. And so that's what matter is basically just interactions of energy patterns. Now, the esoteric question, I mean, that's physically... in physics, that's something that they can actually show. So one of the implications of that hypothesis is the estimation of the matter in the universe and its relationship to measures of electrons. And that's one of the things that Nassim Haramein showed, was he showed that these ratios indicate that is in fact how the universe is constructed.
Was that before or after when he proposed these hypotheses, was that before or after they turned on the Hadron Collider?
After.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he witnessed that two atoms can be in the same place at the exact same time?
Well, they aren't.
They are. That's what they found.
Well, you have to consider the potential for measurement error at that scale and how near to each other. When you say in same place in time, we don't have the capability of measuring a concurrent instant. So that's part of the issue. But the idea that the universe is just a sea of energy with patterns in it is pretty well accepted. Do you disagree with that?
No,
Okay.
but again, that's just what we've measured in this universe on this frequency. If everything's vibration, we're just tuned into this universe. So I feel like we can alter our dial. That's why the law of attraction works. Is you're not actually attracting things. You're shifting into a universe where those things are already there.
Well, that's an interpretation, but if it seems like an equally valid hypothesis would be that if we are a sea of energy and your thoughts are energy, that you can manifest in this universe with your thoughts. You don't have to switch to another frequency. You're just putting the patterns out there in this universe.
By putting them out there, you are shifting to another universe. Just the action of doing so is changing your timeline. It's changing your universe.
Well, that's
why
that seems like if you think about Occam's razor, that seems like a pretty far-fetched interpretation. So what I'm saying is, let's say the way I visualize what you're talking about, let's say there's a sea of energy with waves in it. Okay. And what I'm saying is that human thought has the ability, like putting an oar in the waves, to alter their size, direction, shape, which alters the interactions with other waves, which creates different molecular patterns and matter. It sounds to me like when I'm trying to envision what you're talking about is every time you think something, you're going to a different ocean.
No.
So what do you mean by a different universe?
It would be the same as not necessarily a different ocean, but maybe jumping in the water. If you're on a boat. I don't know. This is just things that I have read from books that I've read from like The Secret and from Bashar, who's a channeler. That you like, okay, I'll give you an example. I think that the reason why I'm in the universe where Trump was president is because I was dating a person who was a Trump supporter at the time that he got elected. I think that if I hadn't been dating her, then I would not have entered that universe.
Okay.
That's how deep I believe in that stuff.
So if you hadn't been
I think that there's a universe where Hillary won, and there's also a universe where Trump won.
Okay, a different ocean.
Yeah, well, I guess. Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's...
have you heard about John Teeter?
Well, hold on a second. Let's just think about this.
Uh-huh.
All right? So you're saying that for every person, for every thought...
No, for
every person, for every circumstance or decision, a different universe is created.
Every universe is already there and existing. It's already there. Every action that you can take has already been taken or will be taken by you, and it's just a matter of which you're shifting into, depending on the action. So if you're going to a fork in the road and you decide to go left, there's another you that went right.
Okay, for every person.
Yeah.
So
there's no limit. We don't know how big the universe is. It's impossible to even conceive.
You're saying not just how big the universe is, but how many universes there are.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is
there can't just be one. And even if there was one, it's so big that maybe there is another you on the opposite end of the universe in a galaxy that's exactly the same as this one. Because we don't know. Because the universe is so massive and we are so minuscule.
Yeah.
That's why I want to leave behind a legacy. because I already feel so small and so unimportant.
Okay. It seems non-coherent that you would believe on one hand that you are so powerful that every decision you make creates a new universe.
No, I don't believe
jumps
that.
you into another universe. And on the other hand, that you're so small and that you're insignificant. So
The power lies in everybody.
in the interactions, I'm just trying to get this straight. So you are soul A. You are a unit of consciousness A. And every choice that you make
Yeah.
jumps you into a different universe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's 50 years ago, there was 2 billion other humans. Now there's almost 10. So all of those additional humans over the last 50 years, what's their role in the universes that you are jumping into?
What do you mean? They're already there.
So
Their universes are running coherent. They're parallel.
So everybody's jumping back and forth between all these different universes all the time.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I don't think time travel is actually
if
real.
that's true. Oh, so they're not even on the same timeline? So you jump into another universe and it's...
No, that's what I'm saying. If time travel was real, like John Teeter, who was this dude who was on a forum like 10 years ago who predicted a bunch of stuff that did happen, and he said he was a time traveler. He said that time travel doesn't actually exist. What you do is you can travel to another year, but it's in a different universe. So anything that you do in that universe will affect that universe, not the universe. So you can never come back to your actual universe.
So did he come back?
No.
So how did he make predictions? I'm lost.
He entered another universe, but they're running parallel. So you can't come back to the exact universe. You come back to a universe that's almost exactly the same, but maybe like this can is like that instead of like this. And that might be the only difference.
Okay. It seems unnecessary.
Why? What do you mean? What do you mean it seems unnecessary?
Well, I mean, physics is real.
In this universe, the physics in this universe have been defined, but in another alternative universe,
But if you jump,
the physics could be completely flipped.
if you're jumping into other universes based on every decision you make, and the physics is different,
Into similar universes that are very, 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 very similar, like almost identical,
right?
with the exception of the one decision that you made. And then that decision goes off, then you go off and then you head into a brand new direction where there's all new universes versus if you make this decision, then you go off in that, and there's all different universes that you'd be jumping into.
But remember, you are not the only human.
Yeah.
And you're saying that those universes are inhabited by the rest of the humans and presumably the other aliens too, I guess.
Yeah, everything.
Fits the whole...
But why are you're putting a cap? You're thinking that there's a cap. There is no limit. The limit does not exist. Didn't you ever watch Mean Girls? The limit does not exist.
No, the issue is that it seems like unnecessary complexity.
For who? For God? For the
nature,
universe?
For nature, yeah. Nature doesn't make unnecessary complication.
According to the things that you've observed.
Okay.
According to your perception.
So one of the things that Nassim Haramein talks about is
If nature go
is
ahead.
a holographic universe.
Okay.
That everything is if you zoom in, you see the same patterns. If you zoom out, you see the same patterns. Meaning if you zoom way in, a cell looks like a galaxy, and if you zoom way out, the galaxy looks like a cell.
Yeah.
So
That would make that fits perfectly into this multi-universe thing. The other universe that you could be jumping into could be the size of a cell from your perspective.
Okay. So that that sounds even more complicated. So not only are they
Life is if it wasn't complicated.
so what is the point of describing it that way? What does it achieve?
What do you mean? That's what I believe.
I understand that that's what you believe. So what behaviors or
I'll take it even further.
okay.
Not only do I believe that, but I also believe that there is a universe where like magic, like Harry Potter magic is real, and J.K. Rowling tapped into that universe and wrote those books. Same with George R.R. Martin and Game of Thrones. I believe that all of those things are real and exist in other universes,
Or in an author's imagination?
which could be another universe
Okay.
in itself.
Fine.
And they just channeled it. Same with like The Simpsons and everything that possibly could exist that we can think of exists, just not right here, right now.
Okay. So defining imagination or thought as channeling other universes, does it change anything?
It did for J.K. Rowling. She became a billionaire because
Right,
she
but
channeled
no.
into that.
Well, what I'm saying is whether she defines it as something she just imagined or channeled from another universe, she still wrote the books. It's just all you're talking about is how you are describing the phenomena semantically. It's not right. What behaviors would change, or what would you do differently based on this belief that there's no such thing as imagination. You're just channeling other real universes.
I think imagination is tapping in.
That's fine. What I'm saying is the phenomenon, whether you call it channeling another universe or imagination and creativity, whatever you call it, it's the same phenomenon.
Okay.
So what's different based on this quote belief? It sounds to me like it's just a linguistic exercise of how you're describing some phenomenon, describing it as channeling another universe versus imagination.
That's like asking a super Christian person why they believe in Jesus. Like, what does that change?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think for super Christian people, it does change some things.
Why? Why is their belief any higher or lower than mine?
I'm not saying, I'm not putting it on a hierarchy. I'm not putting a belief structure on a hierarchy. All I'm saying is that people that have,
They make actions based on their beliefs. And so do I.
and what are they? That's what I'm asking you.
I try to be a good person as much as I can so that I can enter a better universe where everyone I know is doing better.
Okay. And is that when you say, okay. So you think
That's why I try to when
positive thoughts, positive behaviors.
move you into a positive universe.
Okay. And whether you, I'm
That's why when
saying,
people-
I'm saying my definition could work too, where you are putting out positive patterns of energy into this universe, which alters this universe, rather than moving you into another one.
But through that I'm changing things.
Yeah,
So I'm changing the universe.
correct.
So I'm moving into a different universe.
No.
So because I'm changing it.
The difference is,
If I didn't do those things, I would not be in a universe where good things were happening. I'd be entering into a universe where bad things were happening.
you would be
I would be creating bad
creating
things
the same-
versus good things.
correct.
So I would be shifting the universe.
You would be shifting this universe, not shifting yourself into a different universe. That's where,
I think that see that's where the difference is. You don't believe in the multiverse.
I believe in multi dimensions, but I don't believe in multiple universes.
How is that any different?
Well, I think the universe like we can only see in the visible light spectrum.
Yeah.
Right. I think the universe, obviously, as sea of energy, has vibrations that go all the way from the lowest to the highest,
Yeah.
and we can only see a sliver of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Like
there's
we're on a piece of paper and we can't see the pencil. If you imagine it that way,
well, I don't think that's the analogy I would use.
we're 2D and we cannot perceive 3D.
No, that's not the analogy I would use either. I think it would be more like we're fish and we can't see the water.
Okay.
Like, and that's one of the things that Harmind talks about is that the energy, the sea of energy, is what's real. And because of the frequency that certain atoms vibrate at and how our perceptual organs have evolved, when I look across the room at you through what to me I perceive as open air, you know, the cubic centimeters of, quote, air between you and me, the atoms in that air have as much, you know, enough energy to blow up the earth a million times over. Like it's the energy potential in those molecules is huge. And
So wouldn't it make
based
sense that
simply on the
within
way
those-
that,
wouldn't it make sense that within those molecules there are other universes?
no.
Well, then
not
where does the
necessarily.
potential come from? Where does that potential energy come from?
Well, do I know enough to answer that question?
See?
Well, I'm just trying to think about the other thing that Haramind talks about is that every proton is connected to, I think he says, half of the rest of the protons in the universe, and then those are connected to the other half. So there's like a 2-jump wormhole between every proton of every atom in the universe. And that's where the
That would make perfect. That fits in perfectly for the multiverse theory.
why? No, he's saying every proton in this universe. He's not saying it crosses universes if there are other ones.
You just said that they enter wormholes.
That's how they're connected.
Yeah. So they're connected via a string that is between two universes.
No,
A wormhole moves things from one universe to another.
no.
That's what wormholes are. It's two points in space that are connected.
Space in the same universe. 2 points in space in the same universe.
It's not necessarily the same universe. That's what I'm saying, man.
Well, it's an esoteric discussion, and I probably don't know enough about the physics and the measurements that have been made so far. But if it was protons in this universe connected to all protons in every other universe, then the energy density readings would be coming out differently than they are. When they do the energy density readings, it aligns with the mass
Things that they
of
can
this
measure
universe.
using instruments created in this universe to
Right.
measure things within this universe. They haven't created an instrument to measure things in alternate dimensions or other universes or within the multiverse. We haven't gained the ability to physically slide. We can only do it in our minds. And it can only be, it's only microscopic that we can change. It's only minuscule that we can shift. Like I can't go to sleep and say, okay, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm going to be a billionaire living in a penthouse in New York City. I can't do that because I don't have the power to do that. But I can assign that to way far in the future and make micro decisions so that eventually happens.
Okay. That's good.
Does that make sense?
It does, but I don't necessarily. I mean, that's like goal setting. That's like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's
I read that book in college.
I don't know that you don't necessarily need an infinite number of universes for that to work. That's all I'm saying.
That's why they say the law of attraction doesn't work immediately. Because if it did, anytime anyone was thinking of something, it would pop up instantly.
Okay.
So you can't shift into that universe that the big things are. You can only make micro shifts.
Well, okay. I think the observations of the way things work supports my definition more than it supports your definition. Because if you could,
Most metaphysicists believe in the multiverse. Ishii Coco, whatever that guy's name is, believes in the multiverse. Neil deGrasse Tyson believes in the multiverse.
well,
The multiverse theory is pretty,
a theory.
yeah,
It's just a theory,
yes.
and it's a theory that is receiving more and more challenges as time goes on. Because it's
too big
It's
for
non-definable.
humans to grasp.
It's
For
immeasurable.
unawakened or enlightened
Okay.
humans to grasp.
It's, to me, it sounds it's more like it's just a linguistic, approach to describing something, and it doesn't have any real impact of how you describe it. If you just want to call people's imagination channeling other universes, and
I think it does the opposite. I think it grounds you in reality. It makes it seem like it gives the law of attraction real. It makes it more real. Because it takes the magic out of it and it makes it more real. So when my saying is wealthy, attractive, successful, healthy, abundant, triumphant, famous, I say that all the time to myself. That's my mantra.
okay,
Every time I say that, I feel like it shifts me one tiny centimeter closer to all those things happening versus me just saying that or praying to God. It's taking the God out, but still placing a higher power. It's just giving yourself that higher power. Because I also believe on a grander scheme of things, on the biggest scheme, I think that we are actually all one source. So in another life, I could be you. In another life, I could be the dude that works at the little convenience store that I go to. In another life, I actually was him or will be him eventually, because there is no such thing as time. It's all dependent on where your individual soul, what kind of karmic things your individual soul needs to learn in this lifetime. So I think that in one life I was the starving kid in Ethiopia. I think that in another lifetime I was an ant.
okay.
It's all connected.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's all connected. I think rather than thinking of our souls as independent, I think of us more like fingers.
Okay.
So we're all part of the same the energy of consciousness. And for particular lifetimes, we coagulate into this particular set of vibrations and energies and inhabit a human body. And maybe, if I'm a finger of a bigger whole, then there may be some toe of the same whole that's inhabiting an alien body on some other planet. But it's all, we forget. First of all, you have to have amnesia for this process to work, right? It's the whole idea is the soul becoming self-aware. So when you're everything, you're nothing. Does that make sense? Like, the only way to feel, grow, think is is to become differentiated from just pure energy.
Okay.
White light is just white light. White light's not going to fall in love, right?
White light is love.
Okay. If white light is love, then
Light is love. I don't know why we need to put a white in front of it, but
well,
I know what you're saying.
the point
I know what
is
you're saying.
point is that a single tone with no modulation, no interruption, that's not music. That's just tone. That's just a tone.
Uh-huh.
And so what makes it music is the way that it gets pushed and pulled, raised, lowered, sped up, slowed down. All the different changes to the tone is what creates music.
Yeah.
So if pure soul energy is just like a tone, then we are the music. We are the differentiation. We're the raising it, lowering it, changing its shape, changing its timing, speeding it up, slowing it down. That's what being, a human being.
The universe's ability to look at itself.
Right.
Yeah. I believe that too. I don't think that is in opposition to my multiverse theory.
Well, I'm just saying the multiverse theory doesn't matter. I mean, it might be true, but it's not in terms of the actual manifestation that we deal with as living human beings, whether you say it's a multiverse or you say it's us tapping into universal knowledge or it's us creating patterns with our thoughts that manifest in this universe versus shifting us to another, it doesn't make a difference.
So you don't think you have any power then?
No, I do. I think our thoughts create energy patterns that go into this universe, and
Well, then everything matters.
right.
Not nothing. When you're nothing, you're everything. Not when you're everything, you're nothing.
Well, what? Everything is nothing if there's no differentiation. There is no everything if there.
You're the one who defines things. You're the one who gives things different, whatever that word is.
No. Well, you perceive things.
And you define things.
When you say you define things, what do you mean?
You define how you react, how you feel, how things impact you. That's life. That's the lessons you're learning on this rock.
Yeah. When you said things, I thought you meant like picture frames and light bulbs and tripods and desktops and.
Well, those are things too. Those are things that someone created from their mind that they decided they needed to make.
Yeah. But you didn't define them. The craftsman that created them defined them.
Yes, but I am the craftsman
Okay.
in another life.
Well,
Like I said,
maybe in this life. So that's another thing. You're trying to take your individual consciousness and move it around.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is your individual consciousness from this lifetime is a unique manifestation. All right. When you die, you're going to get reabsorbed back into the universal consciousness.
Or I could come back to this exact life and do it all over again and just make different decisions, depending on how many times I need to relearn this lesson on this life, in this plane, in this existence, within this universe, or within these sets of universes that I have shifted into.
Okay. I guess. Potentially.
We don't know. No one truly knows fucking anything. I apologize for cussing. No one knows anything. No one really knows anything. No one really.
What about the people that have had experienced death and come back?
They still don't know everything.
No, but you said we don't know anything.
I still don't think they know anything, because that could have just been DMT firing off in their brain.
Okay.
which is a chemical that is released when you are dying.
Okay.
And it's also a chemical that you can take. And I've taken it, and I've met the machine elves, and I've talked to them, and they told me what I need to do. And they said, if you tell anybody what we're telling you right now, it's not going to happen. So I'm not saying what they actually told me, but
You're just doing what they told you
I'm
to
just
do.
doing what they told me to do.
Okay.
Because I want that future that they told me will happen. If I, whatever, I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to even risk whatever. But, we don't really know. Like, how do you explain that? You can't explain that. No one can explain. No one can explain. Like,
I don't think the machine elves are in a different universe. I think they're in this universe vibrating at a different frequency. Like I was talking about, like we think this quote space between us is empty. We think of it as, empty space.
yeah.
But it's not at all empty.
Yeah, I know.
It's like fish inside water. They don't think about the fact that they're in water. We see water and we think that's not empty. Fish probably don't even think about air, I guess.
Yeah. And here's what I think you're saying. You're saying that we're fish and we're in water. You're saying that air doesn't even exist.
No.
Because to a fish, if they're pulled up on the boat, they're in a different universe.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that's not a different universe. That's a different
To
dimension.
them it is.
Well, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the actual thing that we're talking about. A universe has energy interacting, creating mass inside of it. It's a system. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
The universe is a real thing.
Yes.
And what I'm saying is within that universe, the energy vibrations can be across a much wider spectrum that we can even measure so far. I mean, we think of light. We have the visible light spectrum, and then we have X-ray, ultraviolet, all the stuff we can't quote see with our eyes.
Yeah.
We can only see with our instruments. And what I'm saying is even beyond what we can measure with our current instrumentation, there may be other frequencies, but that's energy vibrating in this universe.
Why are you placing it in a box?
So you can do physics, so you can figure shit out.
But again, physics is just another thing that we defined. That's just another box.
But it's useful. Like we wouldn't be recording this podcast if we didn't try and make things concrete, scientific, measurable, replicable.
Yes, I'm not saying that we shouldn't do that, but I'm saying we shouldn't limit ourselves by saying that things don't exist. Like, there's probably a universe where vampires are real, and zombies, and werewolves, and Frankenstein. Everything
Okay.
that can happen, will happen, and has happened.
Okay, but what use is that? What does that do for you?
It gives me an immense amount of power.
How so?
Because it's with that thought pattern, I know that there's a universe here's what I believe. I believe right now there's a universe where I am the president. Like right now. Even though in this universe I couldn't even run for president until I'm 35. But in another universe, there's no age limit and I'm already the president. There's also another universe where I'm a street walker or I'm on the streets or something. There's the spectrum and it's me, but I'm just not. It's because of the micro decisions that I've made that I've shifted into this universe. But that's the same with everybody. That is everybody. There's a universe where Robert Downey Jr. is a race car driver, and Ryan Reynolds works at a bakery, And there's a universe where Nicki Minaj is the president, or Beyonce is like a fast food worker in Florida. Like there's everything that can happen, will, and has.
I still don't understand what that frame of mind accomplishes.
Because if I know that everything and anything is possible, it gives me the ability to believe that everything and anything is possible.
Okay. Well, but the multiverse idea isn't the only way that condition could be true. You could believe that everything and anything is possible without the multiverse.
I don't necessarily believe that,
Why not?
because you think that in this universe that Harry Potter is real and that magic is real.
Well, no.
Well, then there you go.
Okay. Well,
Does that make sense? To a degree?
nah, not really. I mean, so what you're hoping is that there is some place, a real place, where the things that we can only imagine are really happening.
Yes.
So what does that do for you here? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Allows my mind to be creative and to believe whatever I want to believe, and that anything and everything is possible.
Well, so you think Harry Potter magic is coming to this universe?
It could if every day I focused on it and I thought about it. But it would probably take years and years of constant focus and constant micro decisions for me to enter into a universe where Harry Potter is real.
Oh, so you wouldn't be in this universe
No,
anymore.
I would be in that universe. Like I said, everything
Okay.
exists everywhere. It's just in another universe.
Okay.
Does that make sense now?
Yeah, it does. But
And the same goes for. I
don't think that I think if that's true, then I think that could be more damaging and detrimental than productive.
Why?
Because imagine that you do want to go to the universe where Harry Potter magic is real, and you spend all your days every day chasing that dream. You don't get the stuff you need to survive and thrive in this universe, and you're distracted, and instead of being in the moment, being actually here now, being present in the current moment, in the current universe, if you say there's only if you want to frame it that way, then that detracts from your spiritual health in the now, because you're dreaming about something that's fancy, far-fetched and fanciful.
Something that you perceive as impossible.
Okay.
That's the problem. That's the limitation that you're putting on it. And if
Hold on, but we're not talking about me. We're talking about whether or not this belief system where you think you can.
But I don't want to go to. I don't want to go to a universe where Harry Potter's real. That's why I'm not
beside
going.
the
That's
point.
why I'm not going to go to one, because Voldemort's real too.
But that's beside the point.
I don't want no dude turning me into a frog or anything.
Okay, but again, beside the point. If your belief
Yes.
is that through thought and micro decisions,
Yes.
what you said, you can actually move into a universe
Yeah.
where Harry Potter magic is real, or you name it. You said there's werewolves, or people can fly, or whatever fanciful, imaginative thing you wanted to chase. Then you're not here now. You're not in this universe with your daily life. You're fantasizing about where you're going.
Dreaming. I'll zoom out. I'll zoom this in and out for you.
Okay.
Like 10 years ago when we were at a state fair and you saw a Nigerian dwarf goat, and you were like, one day I'm going to have a farm on top of a mountain with a bunch of goats.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened. You're here. You entered this universe.
No, I think my thought patterns altered the universe I was in to create the circumstance that we live in. We didn't change universes.
You did.
We reimagined the universe we were in. We put out thought patterns. Visualization. Visualization works. It doesn't work by moving you to a different universe. Visualization works by changing the universe you're already in.
Changing the universe you're already in alters the universe and makes it a different universe.
No.
Yes. Yes, it does. Every decision that you make changes the universe. So it's a different universe than the universe that you made prior to that decision.
Well, then essentially what you're saying is the universe is a different universe than it was every microsecond
Yes,
later.
exactly.
Okay. Well, that's just a linguistic approach. I mean, fine. So we were just talking 10 seconds ago. I was a different person.
Yeah, you were.
Okay, I see what you're doing. I'm understanding now, but again, it's semantics. It's nothing tangible or real. It's just a different way of describing something.
That's your perception. To me, it's very real. I have met.
What I'm saying is we're both saying the same thing. We're just describing it different ways. We're not disagreeing, because you're just saying the universe is different every instant. It's a new universe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you shift into a different universe.
Obviously.
Yes. But that doesn't mean that the universe that you left isn't still there.
Yeah, I think it does.
No, I don't. I see. That's what I don't. Haven't you seen Sliding Doors, that movie, or Sliders?
Those are movies.
Yeah. Which came out of the minds of men. So did all the theories
Sure,
that
of
you
course.
believe came out of the minds of men or women.
Okay.
It's the same. You're the one who's defining things and putting things in a box. And I'm saying there is no box. You got to think outside of it.
Well, fine. It's a romantic and poetic way of describing
Life?
life.
Yeah.
Well, fine. Energy patterns in the universe.
That's life.
That's life. Okay. Well, so what does if every instant it's a new universe, what's the point of a legacy?
Leaving behind something that can be seen in multiple universes. And the larger your scope, the more people that you interact with, the more people that know you, the more people that are aware of you, the more energy you put out there, the longer your energy pattern lasts.
Okay.
So that's a legacy to me.
So universal narcissism.
If you want to view it in a negative light,
Well, you tell me what it is.
universal narcissism. I think that's a new term. I don't think anyone has ever said that. Probably not in this universe. No one said that, but probably in another universe, someone has said that.
So you want your energy pattern that you create to be known far and wide across multiple universes.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds like universal narcissism.
I just want someone in, like I said before we even started this, if I want someone in like 1,000 years, if someone in like 1,000 years has found a flash drive with my music on it, and somehow their technology allowed them to play it, and they played it, like that's what would make me feel good.
You'd be gone. It couldn't make
But
you
my
feel
music
good.
wouldn't. And my music, like, do you think James Brown or Michael Jackson, the Beatles, do you think they're ever going to really disappear? Because I don't.
Well, I think they've rejoined the universal collective energy and potentially remanifested in some other form in another life somewhere, but I don't think
They could have reformed in another, like Michael Jackson could have come back as like somebody else who heard Michael Jackson's song and it helped him along the way. Like
Yeah, possible.
Elvis could have come back. Elvis could have been Elvis and come back and been born in the exact same hospital like a day later as Elvis, and Elvis's songs could have helped Elvis. But he was a different Elvis. But he wasn't Elvis. He was another person listening to songs that he created in another life. Does that make sense? Because time, I don't believe in time.
All right, so hold on. You're saying You lost me along the way somewhere. So you're saying this new person was born in a hospital
I'm just giving an
the
example.
day after Elvis died?
No, was born.
So you have two parallel Elvises?
Yes, but one isn't Elvis. But Elvis's music still helped Elvis because he made his music in a previous life.
Yeah.
Elvis could have come back as his own mother.
Okay.
That's how deep I feel like everybody's connected. Like I think that I was Elvis.
Yeah, that's what we're both and to the degree that everything is one, yes, you are everybody. You're Hitler too.
Yep.
So,
But probably not hopefully not within like the last 10 or 15 or 20 lifetimes I wasn't Hitler.
but
Hoping
no,
that
that's
was a
not what
long
I'm
time
that's
ago
not
or-
what I'm saying. I'm saying that remember the universal consciousness is like a tone. It's just like a single tone, like a beep, like just a single tone.
Uh-huh.
And the individuals, Elvis, Chancellor, Hitler, the individuals are just variations of that tone. They're changes in pitch
Yeah.
for a period of time
Yeah.
on a very, obviously the tiniest filament of that tone. It's all one thing,
Uh-huh.
but like, a quadrillion zillion fingers, little fingers coming off of this giant body, if you want to think about it like that. You're a finger, Elvis is a finger, Hitler's a finger. You're all part of the same whole, but your individual consciousness and manifestation in this lifetime is unique to you.
So you don't think that people come back? You don't think people get reincarnated?
Parts of the energy pattern that makes you up get replicated in future other iterations.
So why are you limiting that to the future? Why are you putting time on it?
Well, where it comes back, I guess, could be,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
You could come back in your next life and be Elvis.
Okay. I suppose, but if I do, I guess I would owe you a thank you very much.
Do you understand? Like, does that make sense?
It kind of makes sense, except that it would be like playing on a loop. And I don't think the universal subconscious would be playing on a loop. Like if the whole point of creating all these little fingers with their own unique characteristics and
You're the one who's
popping
defining them that way.
popping them into life. Yes, this is the way I'm defining them. Popping them into life to reflect and feel and love and be hot and be cold and do all the things that this universal energy monotone can't do because it's just
See,
universal energy monotone.
What you're doing already within this is you're limiting your future life to you're saying that Elvis can't make different decisions. You're thinking that you can't make you're thinking that you don't actually have any decisions.
Well,
You're taking the power away.
well,
You could come back as Hitler
the only
and not
wa-
kill all those people.
right, but that's only possible in your definition, which is there's infinite number of
Yeah.
universes.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is we have a universe. We modulate different frequencies. There's different dimensions, but the universe is the universe. And if there is such a thing as
So how do
if
you
there is such a
explain the
thing as
Mandela effect?
progression,
How do you explain the Mandela effect in your definition?
that it's a
If we aren't entering different universes,
fluke.
it's a fluke.
Yeah.
So you don't believe that any of the Mandela effects are real?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean,
The only way that they would be real
I
is through
understand.
my definition,
yes.
and they are very real.
They
They
are.
a thing.
I don't know.
the Berenstein and the Berenstein Bears, like that's one that
Berenstain Bears.
I remember. They were called something completely different. They were spelled differently.
Well, but
They were spelled differently.
We pulled the books out and we looked at the books.
Yeah. And you remember them being spelled differently.
No. I don't really remember. I remember calling them the Berenstein Bears, but I don't remember the stain on the...
Yeah, you don't remember that because that happened in a different universe. Because we entered a different universe. And the Mandela effect is the only remnants of the other universes. And that's just one example. There's like a million of them. If you go on YouTube, you can go down a YouTube hole. That's the only thing that makes that, like, that's proof that my theory is real.
Or that we're living in a simulation.
Or we're living in a simulation.
A glitch in a computer program.
But even in the simulation thing, wouldn't it make more sense that there would be multiverses within the simulation versus not multiverses? Like, if we're in a simulation, wouldn't a simulation run every possibility that it could? If we're in a giant computer, it would
have the potential to do that. It wouldn't necessarily run them, but
I think it would.
No.
It would want to know. That's why it would create us. If we are in a giant computer and if there was a computer powerful enough to make all of this real, don't you think it would be powerful enough to make anything real if it's a simulation? Then it would make more sense that there would be Harry Potters and stuff like that. It would make even more sense because there would be no limit. That's what I'm saying. The limit does not exist.
Right.
It's a construct that you're placing.
Well, I think if it was a simulation, then it would be, rather than it being a real thing, it would just be people's perception of something.
Why? Why would it place a limit? That's again placing a limit.
But I think that's the whole thing. But that's the whole thing about it being a simulation, is that the whole thing is just a recreation, like we're in the Matrix, like it's not real. That's when people say you live in a simulation, that's what they're saying, is it's just a manipulation of your perception.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
A manipulation of your perception, so you're entering into a different program or code. Neo could fly once he opened his mind and he realized it was a simulation. And he was like, "Oh yeah, anything can happen in here, so I'm going to fly and I'm going to stop bullets."
Yeah.
In
the Matrix, but when he was out of the
within
Matrix,
the simulation, he made it. That's what I'm saying. Anything is possible because it's I'm saying if it is a program, anything's possible. So if anything's possible, everything's possible.
Well, anything's possible if you learn how to recode yourself.
If you make micro decisions to enter into a different universe.
Well, it wouldn't be, if it was a simulation, if it was just all inside of a computer, it wouldn't be a different universe. You would just be changing the code.
From my perception, it would be a different universe.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. We're talking about our perceptions of reality.
No, we're trying to talk about reality, not your perceptions of reality. Anyway. Okay,
How
so
is that any different?
If we're in a simulation, what difference does it make if somebody finds a USB with your music on it?
Then at least, I mean, I would still, I don't know, it'd still matter to me. I'd still feel like, the other thing is there's no way for me to know.
Right.
But I would like to hope.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, hope is useful. It's a good motivator. Once you've lost hope, there's nothing much to get up in the morning for.
And I actually did really lose hope. Technically. Ba-dum-bum-tsh.
Yeah. Former girlfriend named Hope.
Okay, well, I didn't need to go into that, but the world didn't need to know that, but whatever.
Well,
I know, I'm the one who brought it up.
and did a rim shot. I was just trying to explain why there was a rim shot without the explanation of Hope being your girlfriend's name.
Okay.
The rim shot wouldn't have made sense.
If she's listening, I hope you're having a wonderful life.
There you go. Okay, so, wow. I guess we better talk about a song because we're at an hour.
Okay, so we're going to take over.
Yeah.
This is an interesting song.
Why?
I started this as a collab with another artist, and I kind of went into a completely different direction than she was heading, and so I kind of took the song over. Now the song is called Take Over. So I hope you enjoy it.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Adios.
The beat is